Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we're going to jump back into some historic. Today I thought we would revisit an old favourite deck of mine, one that we've played, I guess relatively recently, but a few sets have come out since we last checked it out, I believe, and honestly, barely anything's changed about it. We're going to be playing some Paladin combo. So for those who don't know how this deck works, it is a combo deck, a 3-card combo deck. However, we've got a lot of redundancy in this combo. So let me just throw it into 3 piles for you. This one, and then we want to put this here, this here, this here, and this here. And that looks like the pile. So it's a 3-card combo. And the combo can be either one of these 3 piles here. So what we need is an untapping creature like Lurking Roper or Famished Paladin. The important part about these cards is it says whenever you gain life, untap this creature. Same thing goes for this one. It doesn't untap during its untap step, but it untaps when it gains life. So, in order to make this card good, you have to give it life. So, we've got some cards to do that. We've got Leonin Sanctifier from the first Jumpstart, the digital-only card that gives a creature perpetual lifelink for 2 mana, and is a 2/1 lifelinking body in its own right as well, so it's really nice to delay the game a little bit and give you the time you need to set up your combo. So, what we're going to do, hopefully, the prime target for Sanctifier is actually Porcupirate, but you can also attach it to Lurking Roper and Famished Paladin so that the doesn't untap during its untap step part, basically disappears, and Sanctifier with the perpetual lifelink on these gives it pseudo vigilance, which is cute. You can also do Rune of Sustenance as well, giving a creature lifelink, but you can also attach it to an equipment, in this case Sorcerer's Wand, and then anything that is equipped by that equipment or enchanted by this aura gains lifelink, so it does the Sanctifier thing as well. 1 copy of Shadow Spear, just allowing us to get trample and lifelink. It's just another extra card that we can play on turn 1, very nice. And then Splendor Mare from Ikoria. For cycling, if you cycle it, you get to put a lifelink counter on a creature you control. So the only targets in this case are an active Lurking Roper or Famished Paladin. So we've managed to get lifelink on Famished Paladin and Lurking Roper. They've basically got pseudo vigilance, but how do we actually win the game? Well, once we've given them pseudo vigilance and lifelink and whatever we need to do from this pile here, we're going to either equip them with a Sorcerer's Wand or mutate them with a Porcupirate. Porcupirate's the best one in my experience. It says, tap, this creature deals X damage to any target, where X is the number of times this creature is mutated. So it's only going to mutate once, hopefully, and that means that we're going to deal 1 damage with the Porcupirate's tapping effect. Now remember, these guys have got lifelink at this point, so Porcupirate comes in, says this creature deals X damage, this creature being Roper. So Roper deals 1 damage to any target, and because it says this creature, that means that any lifelink attached to the Roper or the Paladin automatically means we gain 1 life, and when we gain 1 life, we untap with Lurking Roper. That means when we ping our opponent for 1, tapping it, we get to untap it, and ping them, and untap it, and ping them, and untap it, and that's our infinite combo. Sorcerer's Wand does the exact same thing, dealing 1 damage to a player or planeswalker, and it mentions the creature, so if the creature has lifelink, then you get to untap with that as well. Remember, we can attach lifelink with Rune of Sustenance to the Sorcerer's Wand. With the Sanctifier, we can attach lifelink to the Porcupirate. Porcupirate mutating onto the Roper or Paladin, if it had perpetual lifelink, also attaches that perpetual lifelink over to the Paladin or the Roper. Not technically perpetually attaches it, but it is this instance of the creature that has lifelink because of the perpetual effect. But yeah, if Paladin goes into your graveyard, it doesn't then die with lifelink. Not that that would particularly matter, because our graveyard doesn't matter. The rest of the deck is our flex slot, so we've got Selfless Savior on turn 1, allows us to sacrifice Goodest Boy and give Indestructible, so it's really nice to get around burn-based removal, because a 3/3 can be hit with Lightning Bolts and things like that, so it is nice to have the Selfless Savior there to protect, as well as from Wrath of Gods as well. Very nice there. Rune of Speed, similar to the Rune of Sustenance. We can attach this to either a creature or the Sorcerer's Wand. And this will give +1/+0 and haste, which means late game, if we have a wand in play and we've got a Rune of Speed attached to it, we can just play our Paladin down, we can equip it, and it immediately has haste and it's ready to go. So if we've got excess mana, we can win the game that way. Skyclave Apparitions, basically our only form of interaction. 3 mana 2/2, exiles a non-land permanent with mana value 4 or less. Speaks for itself, I'm sure most of you know what this card does by now. And then finally, Valakut's Awakening sits in our mana base and allows us to shuffle our hand back in and pull out some extra draws from this one. So if we're missing any combo pieces, Valakut's Awakening is a great way to go about getting them. As I said, this deck hasn't really changed much. There hasn't really been a card that fits in one of these slots. That's really the thing that makes this most likely to change is, do we get a new way of giving lifelink? Do we get a new untapping creature? Do we get a new pinging effect? If we do, then these piles change. Otherwise, these are the only flex slots that are going to change. So the first one to go is probably Rune of Speed. After that, maybe we get a better Selfless Savior effect or something like that. But yeah, the only real change here is the Forsaken Crossroads. We're going to be trying this one out. Because we're a 3-color deck, that means, you know, getting to choose the color that this produces is very nice. If we are on the play, we get a Scry one. So being combo deck, we want to find our combo pieces, so the Scry really helps. And if we're on the draw, we get to have it as an untapped land so that we can make our 1-drops, our Shadow Spears, and our Selfless Saviors, and our Sorcerer's Wands. So that's quite nice as well, so we don't fall behind for having this, and it fixes our mana, which is really nice. But yeah, that's going to do it for today's video. I imagine these games are going to go very quickly because we win on turn 4 quite a lot of the time. It's pretty consistent. When all of your combo pieces are 8 copies in your deck, you get that consistency, which is really nice. That being said, it is a combo that can be interacted with and is a little bit clunky to set up, so you know, we can also quickly lose. But yeah, it's great for doing your dailies. Typically, I play this one in the casual queue because, you know, there's no stakes. If you lose, you just scoop and you move on. And yeah, it's pretty good at doing that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. If you do, hit that like button and subscribe. And without further ado, let's continue. This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Alrighty, we play first. And we've got our Forsaken Crossroads in our hand. We've got a way to give lifelink, a way to do pinging. We just need one of our untapping creatures here. And yeah, the Scries, the Awakenings, I think all of those are going to help us find that kind of card. And Sanctifier can attach itself to Parrot as well. We don't need to put Sanctifier on Famished Paladin. In fact, it would be preferable if we didn't. We are missing green, so I guess I'm going to put it on green. And what? Paid off, look at that. Lurking Roper. There's our pinger. Dragon's Rage Channeler. So we ask ourselves, do I want to go Sanctifier first? Or do I want to go Awakening so I can play Lurking Roper next turn? Guaranteed. I think I'll take the chance of an untapped land and we'll go with Sanctifier here. We pay 2. Give perpetual lifelink to this Parrot, short of our opponent having Thoughtseize. That shouldn't come back to bite us. And if they are a deck that is damage based, then Lurking Roper's better than Famished Paladin. Let's say that much. Highly doubt they'll trade the Channeler into the Sanctifier here, but I'd be happy if they did. And yeah, if we get an untapped land, we go Roper. And then if it isn't interacted with, we win the following turn. Otherwise, we'll see what happens. I mean, Fading Hopes and things like that would be annoying. They've got a Pillar. Hasn't Pillar been strictly outmatched by... what is it now? It's not Play with Fire, is it? There's another one. Ooh, look at that. So, Looking Roper. What's the name of that card now? It was added recently in Crimson Vow, I think. But yeah, it's a 2 damage to any target, and I think it exiles at instant speed. Something along those lines. Our opponent did not do anything with their last mana here. Got Faithless Looting. No matter what happens, I think I am not blocking. But maybe they're trying to dig for Delirium here, and then they could have Unholy Heat, which could kill the Roper. They've only got Sorcery and Land in the yard at the moment, but they can discard 2 here to go like Artifact, Instant, or Creature. I'm assuming this is like Arclight Phoenix. I'm pretty sure they run Unholy Heat. So just land and creature, so no Delirium yet, which means they'd have to have land into another looting effect or an instant speed spell, and have Unholy Heat as well. They have a Fading Hope. Alright. Could be worse. But that does keep them in the game. Did that trigger Arclight Phoenix as well? Was that 2 or 3 spells? Taking a lot of damage here. This Famished Paladin. Well, I'm just going to play the Roper they know about. Make my land drop. Not that I really need to. But I think we're either winning or losing on this next turn. If they can interact with Lurking Roper with another Fading Hope, or with an Unholy Heat, the game is over. Dragon Rage Channeler. Last card is... well, we'll find out. I'm dead on board, so I have to go for it. If they have Unholy Heat, if they have the Fading Hope, this is game over. If they don't, it's game over. It ends right now either way, so let's find out. Looks like it might have fallen in our favor. Our opponent could be slow rolling us here. If we get to untap, then there's no slow roll here. Well, now I'm alive. If they do decide that now's the time they want to interact. Interesting. Well, I say I'm alive. I think I am still just dead. But now I'm at 10, so I'm not dead to Dragon's Rage Channeler here. But I don't see a world where I'm alive, because I don't think I can establish my combo here. And, well, they had the Phoenix anyway, so... yeah, just a case of having it. But, you know, we're kind of... our deck's built around them not having it. If they don't have it, we win. If they have it, we lose. So, you know, it's hard to get upset that our opponent had the literal nuts when so did we. But their nuts beat our nuts, so on to the next game. Alrighty, we go first. This hand is made a little bit awkward from the Forsaken Crossroads here, because we can't protect the Famished Paladin with a Selfless Savior off the bat, but I think I'm going to keep it anyway. And Crossroads has to go on red here in order to guarantee the Porcupine can 3 mana mutate. So we'll go red, Scry. Yeah, I mean, we've got everything we need in hand already. We just needed the extra land, and now we have it. In this matchup, if we are going to have any kind of interaction from our opponent, it's going to be via Skyclave Apparition, so Selfless Savior isn't going to help us anyway. But we can go Savior Rune of Sustenance. Voice of the Blessed. So yeah, I mean, let's see if they have it. We go Rune of Sustenance. Probably should have waited on my land drop there just in case. Yeah, I think I would have much rather scryed with the crossroads. But, again, it's going to be a case of, do you have it? If you don't, I win. So Skyclave Apparition, I think, is just about the only thing that you would expect from our opponent. They go with a tap land into Bishop of Wings, and that is game over. So now it's just a case of pinging our opponent to death. Ooh, Sorcerer's Wand, that would have also done it as well. Well, actually, no, we would have been 1 mana short. Alright. Parrot in, parrot ping. 23 more times. Let's see if our opponent makes us play it out. Please don't. I have things to do, opponent. Come on. Ten more to go. 9. Why, opponent? Why? I've literally ordered Uber, and it's outside. And you're gonna make me do this? How rude. This is one of the few times where pulling off my combo is a major inconvenience. I really didn't think you'd get here so quick, but here we are. 2, 1, and dead. Alright guys, on to the next game. Alrighty then, we're in, and we've got everything we need here. We've got a turn 1 untapped white source with the crossroads, since we're on the draw. So we can play the Sorcerer's Wand into the Paladin, equip the Paladin, and then we have to cycle the Paladin. So, I mean, it's a slow hand. Maybe it gets better on our draws, but we'll have to see. And our mana's kind of fine. I mean, the redraw on Splendor Mare's also pretty good anyway. Up against Goblins, a historically pretty reasonable matchup for us, honestly. So now I'm thinking I maybe go red in case of, like, Porky Parrot. But I guess with the Sorcerer's Wand, do I even really need that anymore? It'd cost me 2 life. I think it'd be okay. So we do want to go untapped here so we can play the Wand. The jig is up the moment you play this card, so our opponent knows what they have to play against. The good news for us, though, is our opponent's deck isn't typically one that interacts too much. Occasionally I see a Gem Palm from this deck, but not very often. It just likes to win next turn, which is probably what's happening. So I'm going to play the Paladin. I've got 2 turns. They can technically win next turn. As sad as that is, I can't actually interact with it, even with a Skyclave Apparition, unfortunately. Hitting the Prospector would keep them off of Muxus, but we're a mana short on that one. So here's 6 mana. If they want, they can get rid of all their goblins to play a Muxus. And then it'd be a case of spinning the wheel. Yeah, it looks like that's exactly what they're going to go for. Oh, historic. Yeah, that's probably going to win them the game. Goblin Matron can go get Krenko. I guess Krenko's probably the best card. They could also get a Gem Palm, I guess, to make sure that none of my stuff ever gets to live. And yeah, I mean, take 9 here. I don't think there's a single hit that I can get here that matters. More lands, and on to the next one. What a game. Alrighty then, we're in without a way of giving lifelink. Is this hand still good enough, though? Turn 1 wand. I could equip the wand with the Rune of Speed so that the equip gives haste. It doesn't really make too much of a difference in that fashion, though. But yeah, I think I'm keeping this hand. Notably on the draw, so our crossroads are untapped lands if we want them to be. Opponent's seemingly on elves. So let's go wand. More lands. Well, Archdruid's kind of like up there with worst things we could see from our opponent, since that is the best way to win the game extremely quickly. That being said, there's a good chance we win in 2 turns if we can live long enough, so let's see if we can win long enough. I guess actually I win next turn, right? Because I've got the Rune of Sustenance. No, never mind. Collected Company, okay. Yeah, I need 5 mana to do everything I need to do. Our opponent's got infinite mana, so that means Allosaurus Shepherds and everything like that are just going to come in and murder me, so yep, next game. Alrighty then, turn 1, Selfless Savior, turn 2, Sanctifier maybe? We want to give lifelink to the Porky Parrot, ultimately. Because the Porky Parrot can go on any Famished Paladin. Famished Paladin, you know, if that dies, it's a little bit worse for us. So let's see what goes on here. Our mana's kind of fine. Our opponent played a Shatterskull turn 1. Maybe this is Shamans. Could just be mono red, I suppose. It is Shamans. And Narcomancer. Alright. So not really a deck that interacts too much with our combo. So I don't want to leave Paladin exposed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Sanctifier on Porky Parrot here. Pass the turn. Then we're going to play Paladin Sorcerer's Wand, and then we win the turn after if we're not dead. Shamans is a pretty quick aggro combo kind of deck, so I think we're just going to be quick enough, assuming our opponent's got a good hand. And the Selfless Savior allows us to play around Shatterskull Smashing, which they can't really do for a whole lot right now anyway. And I think sometimes they run Stomp. Most of the time it's just Shatterskull Smashing, because they're basically just trying to get their own game plan gone. So it's in their interest to not care too much about what we're doing, but that does come to hinder them slightly in this scenario. Another Porky Parrot. Alright, so we're going to play the Paladin, which has Savior Protection. We're going to play the Sorcerer's Wand. And we're going to pass the turn. So our opponent needs 2 ways to kill the Paladin. Because if they have 3 damage, we protect it with Savior, so then they're going to need 3 damage again. So they're going to need like a Braid twice over here. And they can't cast that off of 2 unclaimed territories, so something along those lines is what they need. Judith! I've seen a Judith brew before. It's not a common one, though. Opponent's just going to get in here. I think I'm just going to block with the Sanctifier. Not that I really need to, but Sanctifier's done its job. Might as well do a little bit more work. So now they can ping my Selfless Savior. I can say this has Indestructible. And win the game. GG. Evil Porky Parrots. 20 points to go. Could even ping their own team off as well, starting with the Judith, but infinite damage is infinite damage after all. Who really cares? Another player who's going to make me play it out. Unfortunately for them, I don't have an Uber waiting for me. Because I've already eaten my dinner. And it was lovely. Alright. Pretty good. On to the next one. Alright. We're in on the draw. We've got no untapper effect. But we've got Sorcerer's Wand. And we've got some runes we can attach to it for redraws. So I'm going to keep this one. Decided I'm going into unranked. Because it seems as though whenever I play ranked with this deck, or with any deck apparently, the matches last 1 minute and 56 seconds. And I'm here to make content, so 1 minute and 56 seconds videos don't really gel well with the content style I'm trying to produce. And so I'm trying to go for maybe somebody who's trying less hard. Let's go Rune of Sustenance here. And maybe my hope is that a match goes at least 5 minutes. That's the dream. Alright, we've got Lurking Roper. If our opponent can't kill it, which maybe they can't. Hondens. Alright, a white source could have very bad outcomes for me. We're going to have to go for the Roper, though. So the Honden can deal 1 damage, which is fine. It's a Wrath I'm concerned with, because I don't really think that I'm going to get destroyed by anything else. Authority of the Consuls. Yep, and that's game. 1 minute and 40 seconds is the length of this particular video. Well, if we it's actually, what did I say originally? What was the number I threw out there? Was it 1 minute and 56? Because they scooped at 1 minute and 56 according to my recording software. I guess there is no home where these matchups don't go for 5 minutes. Well, let's continue on with casual anyway, because the decks are more interesting. So, yeah, on to the next one. Alrighty, on the play. So, it's a Scryland for Crossroads. We have the full combo. I think we want the Scryland turn 1 here, because Roper is our untapper of choice. And it's hard to die to a lot of removal spells that Selfless Savior can protect it from. That's a tough one. It is a land. It is not a land that helps me play on curve. I don't have redraws. I don't think I'm taking the chance. I think Valakut's Awakening, it just has to be the line here. We'll go with, like, Vantage, Sanctifier, stick it on Porky Parrot. Opponent looks to be on Elves. No. Abzan. With Explore. Maybe it's like a... I have no idea. I have no idea. Well, in this case, I'm just going to go with this. Does it matter what color I put it on? Guess I'll stick it on green. Splendor Mare. Is that the kind of card I am lacking? It is not. If anything, I want more Roper effects, I'm pretty sure. So let's go Savior and Wand. Offer the trade with the Llanowar Elves here, because I really don't care about the Sanctifier now. It's lost its value. So let's take our opponent off of a bit of mana there. It's got Island. Oh, okay. Sanctum of Calm Waters. So that puts our opponent on the Hondens and Sanctums. So now Selfless Savior is pretty good, because that stops me from having to worry about Wrath of God effects. And damage-based effects as well. Which, you know, it's hard to Hard to expect a damage-based spell here would do much against the Lurking Roper. They've tapped their blue down, which is good, because I don't have to worry about bounce spells now. So no Brazen Borrowers or anything of the like. I guess exile-based removal is now a thing, but it's not a thing I should play around. So let's go for the Roper, see if they have it. Go under, you want to have the most toughness. And begin the ping. Prevent all combat damage. Unfortunately for you, this isn't combat damage. Although, something to note, if I'd have gone in for combat damage with the 4 here to save myself time, I would have probably lost the game. No doubt. Because you can attack in with the Roper, and then when it deals its combat damage, it untaps itself. But if our opponent had that fog, then I wouldn't have gained any life, and Roper would be tapped. And that would seriously set me back. So, yeah, something to consider. If you do have the infinite life with, or the infinite damage combo, don't bother getting in for damage. Just save yourself some time, because you can potentially lose the game. So, yeah, pretty good. And on to the next one. Alrighty, on the play. We've got 2 untappers and a wand. So this is a potential turn 4 win. We've got Valakut's Awakening as well to chuck back a spare wand, a spare Roper or something like that. I'm not in love with this hand, but it's fine. It works. The jig is up. We're on wand combo. Ketria Triumph. We did get the land, which I'm going to play immediately. Well, it's got Ketria Triumph, so maybe they're on, like, Niv Mizzet. Fabled Passage. It's hard to say what I do here. Do I play Roper or... Well, that's actually pretty good for me. That I can attach to the wand. So the creature that it equips onto gets lifelink now. So as long as they don't have an answer to that, we're in a good spot. Just name red. Not sure it particularly matters. And we'll just scry that to the bottom because we don't need that either. No attacks, and if we get to equip next turn, we win the game. So do they have like an Abrade effect? They got Risen Reef. So this was Temur Elementals all along. Alright. All that it matters, because we win. Another 1 minute 56 game. It is literally 1 minute 56. As I said that. Yeah, this is just the 1 minute 56 game. .deck. That's maybe the name of the deck now. It's loving name. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for today's video. Overall, I think this deck has gotten worse. Mostly seemingly through meta changes, because it was pretty good before. And essentially nothing about this deck has changed other than the mana base, the Forsaken Crossroads, which I'd say are mostly a net positive. I kind of feel like it's mostly just neutral, to be honest. We had check lands in before with this one. And sometimes the force tap land side of it can be a little bit of a hindrance because we are such a fast deck. But the check lands weren't really helping with that either. So having that scry to find your combo pieces has definitely helped out this deck a fair bit. So I'd say it's essentially a net positive. Although it's kind of situationally good and bad. But yeah, this deck's still fine. It looks like you probably shouldn't bother playing it in Historic Ranked. But in the casual format, you can get some easy 4 wins with this deck. No problemo. And yeah, it's not likely to change a great deal either, so next set comes around, you don't have to shove a load of wild cards into it, most likely. But yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed today's video. If you have, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And without further ado, gonna end it off here. Take care, and peace.